Welcome back to the Call on Our Shot podcast. In this video, we will recap all of NFL Week 4. Maybe we'll dive into some college football, maybe some MLB playoff predictions, and everything in between. But as always, my name is Austin. I am joined by Logan. Logan, it is good to see you. And let's just hype up the crowd with a little ladder cash. How do people like that? A little day 5 win. Hey, there we go. We cashed day 5 of the ladder last night on Monday Night Football. A little bit of easy one. I mean, we can talk about the Jets game. The Jets offense was a disaster, man. I can't with that team. We'll get into that in a second. But relatively every was pretty easy. We had some sweaty ladders for the first half. We'll see if we can cook up a day 6 for Thursday Night Football. But Logan, let's just talk about Monday Night Football. And I was thinking last night while I was watching that Broncos game, I was on potential to come into this video and say that I would be willing to shave my head if the Denver Broncos win the Super Bowl. I think I'm there. This team gets way too cute, man. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is averaging 6 yards a carry, and this team just refuses to run the football. They like to get so cute with their read option stuff and end arounds and stuff like that. I like the Broncos. I want to root for them. Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and I love R.J. Harvey, obviously, as a UCF guy. But this team is just do you think they even have a chance? I feel like I hate watching this team. Maybe I was just the guy that had J.K. Dobbins and needed yards. Maybe it's just that talking, but how do you feel about him?
I definitely see your point, and I want to see you own up to that shaved head bet. So, people in the comments, please hold this guy accountable. But I definitely think this Broncos offense does get a little too cute, and that's, with the Sean Payton way. You and I knew that going into that game. Whenever you touch, Broncos props in a betting perspective, that this team could get a little bit more cute, especially I don't understand why they drop Bo Nix back as much as they do on first down. Why not set up second and short or second and medium? I swear they just love dropping him back, and that might work now, and it will work against the Cincinnati defense that's definitely bottom 5 in the league. But again, as you mentioned, Austin, come playoff time, do I really trust that? I don't. I got to see it to believe it, especially with Bo Nix. But yeah, I mean, talking about Monday Night Football, I think we can kind of segue that into Monday Night Football. Your thoughts, I'll tell you mine. Disappointing games. Unless you were a fan of each of those teams, a gambler, or I don't know, just a fan of football in general and craving it, those games were very mediocre. And I think that's sometimes what they do when they schedule these so far in advance. I mean, on paper, I guess Jets Dolphins could have looked intriguing, but that Jets offense, I mean, if I have to hear one more time, hey, give Garrett Wilson the ball, I'm going to crash out, because that's all they kept saying on the telecast. And we know he's their best player. I don't know.
Dude, it was bad. Broncos, interesting matchup this week. They go to Philly to face the Eagles. So yeah. We'll see. It's kind of big time. I mean, the Eagles, A.J. Brown, we can talk about him. I mean, they have not looked good. I mean, they're 4-0, so give them credit. The defense is showing up and winning some games, but that pass offense has looked like a disaster. We'll see. If you want a free prop, this is for week 6. Give me a Bo Nix over in pass yards against the Jets. The Jets, I mean, thinking of the Jets, we don't even need to touch on that. The team stinks. I mean, they are terrible. They can't tackle. I mean, the amount of times, and get well soon to Tyreek Hill, I just saw a dislocated knee and torn ACL and a bunch of ligaments. So get well soon to him. We'll see where his career goes. But I mean, he was wide open. It's like they didn't even know Tyreek Hill was on the team. So I'm so out on the Jets. I know our teams match up in week 7, Jets, Panthers. That might be the least watched game of all time. That is just disgusting. But let's just keep it moving. You're right. The Monday night games weren't great. I was just about to look at what we got next week. Our primetime games this week, we got 49ers, Rams. We have Sunday Night Football will be Patriots, Bills. Oh, man, you could flex that one out. Patriots, Bills. What's the spread on that? 7? Only 7.5. Okay. And then next week, Chiefs, Jaguars. Actually, it was Monday Night Football. So that's not maybe terrible as you might have thought. The Jags, I mean, they looked good. We want to talk about how we did in week 4. Our props didn't, or our props, I feel like I lost so many props by 1 or less than 5 yards. I was agonizing. But as for our game picks, not a great week for us, but you did cash your best bet. So shout out you. You cashed that one. I lost mine, although I really wish I took the Jags plus the points. But let's talk a little bit more about week 5. Are there any other takeaways you had, or week 4, any other big takeaways you had? I mean, you could talk. Yeah. What else did you see on the field on Sunday, Logan, that maybe caught your eye?
I think it was the battle of can't afford to drop to 1 and 3 teams, and that was the Ravens and Chiefs. That game, Yeah, that game spoke to me. Not only because Lamar left early, whatever, weird circumstances behind that. The Chiefs offense finally looked good. And I just needed to see one game where they kind of put it all together. And I know like this Ravens defense was struggling. They're not elite. They're not elite to the point where they need to be, come postseason time. But that Chiefs offense made them look very unprepared in that game. And I think that's something to build on for Kansas City. I mean, the rest of the league put them on notice. I mean, don't let Kansas City get hot, because I mean, we're going to see them on Monday night, which again, that's what you mentioned, a pretty good matchup actually on paper. I'm excited for that one, because Chiefs at Jaguars, so that's a matchup you just don't see all that often. But I'm down to see them travel away from Arrowhead. It feels like every time I watch the Chiefs, they're always playing in Arrowhead. So now we get road Chiefs. We'll see what they can build on.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier Worthy came back and obviously had a big game. I mean, 38 rush yards and 80 receiving yards. So, I mean, he looked all the part of their wide receiver one. Rashee Rice coming back in a few games, whatever, 2 more games. So, yeah, it was good to see them. Ravens, I'm not too concerned about the Ravens. I looked at their playoff odds. They're still minus 700. So the books clearly think they're going to get things going. And based on what we've seen out of that division, it's the Steelers who Mike Tomlin can't get out of his own way. The Browns are bad, and then the Bengals. I mean, that team's dead. So I still would lean towards them getting it going, but their defense is questionable, and it's not necessarily their defense is terrible. They're just down so many guys, and Gilwell Matabike, he's arguably their best run stopper. He's now out for the year. That's a big loss for him. I mean, they are going to be reeling this week with Roquan Smith could be out, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Van Noy. The good thing for them, they get to face the Texans at home. So that's a get-right game. The Texans, even though they spanked the Titans, man, that team is nasty. But something I saw on Sunday, and I was like, could this team actually be good? And a little bit of umph for this team, the Jaguars. I talked with them in our Best Bets video, which will drop our Week 5 edition tomorrow on Wednesday. Liam Cohen, man, he was talking some mess to Mr. Robert Saleh. Maybe I just got a bone to pick with Robert Saleh after what he did to our Jets and my Jets, and what a disaster he was as a head coach. But hey, Liam Cohen chirping after the game. We like to see that. Now, I know some people were like, Robert Saleh would beat him up. Yeah, heck no. Liam Cohen's not going to fight him. I mean, Saleh's running his bleachers every single day. Liam Cohen ain't doing that. But I like to see a little firepower from the Jags. And I think they got a big game coming up here against the Chiefs. I'm not necessarily saying, they're going to win the division, but it's good to see this offense clicking. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is still not my favorite guy, if I'm being honest, but I mean, Jaguars quietly 3-1. I don't think a lot of people were expecting them to be here. And they're 3-1, tied with the Colts for this division lead. And I'm not saying they're going to win this division, but I mean, they've looked good. And I think they could maybe mess around with the Colts, who everyone just think is going to run away with this division. I don't know. Kind of liked what I saw out of the Jags, that running attack. Trevor Lawrence making the right throws. Their defense has looked good. How'd you feel about that Jags win?
The defense impressed me a lot better, because I thought, coming into that game, that was a potential bottom 5, if maybe bottom 10 defense in the league. But that they showed up. They made those stops in that 49ers game when they needed to do it. And gosh, I'm really blanking on his name. One of their like middle linebacker, or one of their edge linebackers was great in that game. He helped Purdy turn a couple, I want to say an interception or two. But the Jags defense was looking elite. They were flying around. I still, like you, have my question marks about Trevor Lawrence in like big time games. This Chiefs game is going to set the record of how I feel about him. If he at home in a big primetime matchup can drop dimes against this Kansas City defense, I'll look pretty favorably on him. One of his weapons, and you and I play fantasy football, so we know about this. He loves Brenton Strange in the dump off role, and you know what? That works. This is a very tight end heavy offense too that Liam Cohen runs, and you know what? I actually think that's better for Trevor Lawrence's style. He's not supposed to be throwing it 40, 50 yards down the field. That is not who he is supposed to be. He's supposed to be more of a game manager, more of a double tight end, just throw it to somebody underneath, check down. And I think that's what Liam Cohen's doing, and that's a great offense for him.
Yeah, I would look at Brenton Strange over in receptions here. Pretty good, favorable matchup for him against the Chiefs as well. We'll talk about that later, probably in Wednesday's video or some other videos. So I do like that. This is like a Trevor Lawrence kind of can you show us that you changed a little bit? I mean, I feel like every time these big games come on, it just doesn't look great. And I know he won his playoff start against the Chargers where they had to come back down 100-0. But this is a big game for him because Steve Spagnuolo and that defense is absolutely cooking teams. I mean, we saw what they did to Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he ended up going out of that game, but it's not like Lamar looked good outside of the first drive. We saw that they did the week before to Russell Wilson. Yeah, this is a big spot for Trevor Lawrence to just show up and look well. He'd look good. He doesn't need to win the game, honestly, but if this game looks competitive, I think that could bode well for them going forward. So that will be a massive game. Thinking about some other games, is there any wide receiver that's playing better than Puka Nacua right now? I mean, I swear you don't even need to look, and he's got 10 receptions every week. It's like, what? I should just be hammering his overs at this point and just moving on. You can't even set the line high enough. The guy is just an absolute beast. Is there anyone playing better than Puka? I mean, the guy's the stud. He's on pace for like 3,000 yards.
No, and Matt Stafford's played with good receivers in his time. I mean, he's played with Calvin Johnson, but the fact that Puka Nacua can just eat up volume like he does, and the craziest thing about it is it feels like he's always open. I mean, it doesn't matter what you scheme defensively. He finds the zone. You know, if you play zone, he beats it. If you play man coverage, again, he can still beat that. He's playing at such an elite level right now. I can't even think of off the top of my head a receiver I'd rather have on my team right now more than Puka Nacua.
Yeah, I mean, does all the dirty work, he blocks. And I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup, right? They're the Thursday matchup against the 49ers, who are dealing with 6 million injuries. And the 49ers are a pretty good defense, but I don't know how you stop the man. And then if you want to double him, it's like, well, hello, we have Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers over the last decade. Have fun guarding him one-on-one. So they really got something going for him. The rushing attack, Kyron Williams is looking good. Obviously, Blake Corum coming in and spelling him a little bit, looking pretty good. Logan, is there an early favorite for your favorite team or a team that you really think should be the Super Bowl favorite so far? I mean, we're stuck with only a couple undefeated teams, the Bills and Eagles. Is there any team that's caught your eye maybe as a Super Bowl favorite, or maybe some team that you see maybe started off a little bit slow, but maybe you see some value in taking them for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we could, you could be pretty square and you could say either of those two undefeated teams that, you talked about. I'm looking for maybe a team with a little bit more value. Who's like third and fourth in that?
So right now we got Bills at around plus 450, Eagles plus 600, and then you got a couple around 900 to 1,000, and that would be the Packers, Lions, Ravens, and Chiefs.
You guys know how I feel about Packers. Hell no. But yeah, no. How about I stay in that division though? How about I talk about the Detroit Lions, who I think are playing at a really good level of football right now? I mean, that team. This is what we wanted to see. Life after Ben Johnson. Can they still put it together? Absolutely. They retain a lot of talent. They got healthier on defense. I think the Lions are a force to be reckoned with, and they have a nice little tune-up game this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you're ever thinking about the Lions maybe slipping up this week, hell no, they're taking care of business.
They always take care of business against those teams. I mean, what is the spread in that game?
10.
9.5. Yeah, that might not be high enough. We'll talk about that game on Wednesday. A team that we kind of talked already about the Rams, but the Rams have looked really impressive. Now they go with the health of Matthew Stafford, so they got to keep him upright. But I mean, that offensive line's cooking. Their defense, they obviously have a great D line. Still a little questionable in the secondary. I'm not big fans on that, but maybe they can address that around the trade deadline in a few weeks and whatnot and try to shore that up, because I think they did deal with an injury to one of their best corners. But I mean, we talked about them. They arguably could have beaten the Eagles last year in that snow game, and the Eagles were the most dominant team. They were the only team that gave the Eagles some trouble, and they got two of the best wide receivers on the planet. So you can come back in any game. Yeah, they're a force to be reckoned with. I think they're around plus 1,400. So maybe a line chop there. I like what I've seen out of them. And if you think about the NFC, there's really not a lot of teams standing in front of them. I mean, the Eagles have a lot of question marks. The Commanders themselves, I'm not too high on them. Then you have the Cowboys and Giants, so like whatever. Then you have the Lions, like you touched on. Packers, maybe. But the Vikings and Bears are bad. Then you get the Buccaneers. The rest of the NFC South isn't great. And then you have the 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like if you're in the NFC, you don't have to go through Josh Allen. You don't have to go through Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, you say what you want about him, they'll probably be there as well. So, I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to take a NFC long shot, I don't mind taking a shot at your Lions, backing them, or a team like the Rams. I think probably that's why you're getting better value on them than some of those NFC team or AFC teams that got to go through a gauntlet to get it done. Logan, let's talk a little bit more about what we saw. How much of that Sunday Night Football game did you watch? The Micah Parsons revenge game and stuff like that. One of the craziest games we've seen of the season.
I watched it all. I mean, you and I were up texting about it. I mean, that was to watch all that, especially on the East Coast, and then get hit with a tie. You don't know how to go to bed feeling about that. You're like, I just stayed up till like midnight to watch a tie. Are you kidding me? All jokes aside, though, I hate watch the Packers now. It's just kind of what I do because I took a firm line in the sand approach where I said this team is not all that good. And I hope people are finally starting to take notice of that. They're not. I mean, to get 40 hung on you, I understand it went to overtime. But that defense, I told you, if you make the right adjustments, that defense is not as good as it seems. I mean, they just play so aggressive that you can beat them. You can get behind them. And that's what the Cowboys were doing. Dak Prescott was very good at just understanding where the blitz was coming from and making a quick read. It's like a snap throw. Right there, right? And he was doing it the whole night. And that's what I know it takes to beat this Packers defense. You have to be quick with your reads. You cannot just sit back like a deer in headlights and not know where you're throwing the ball. That's where they feast on teams. So once again, the Cowboys offense looked a lot good or a lot better, even without CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens stepped up in a big way. So I think that those are a couple of takeaways I want to talk. I want to touch on in that game.
Yeah, I mean their offense has really never been the question. I mean, Dak Prescott has looked good for pretty much the whole season. Outside of maybe you could say the second half of the Eagles game, but again, that was like a game that had lightning delays and stuff like that. The Eagles, we know, are a really good defense. They're carrying them right now to the 4-0 record. Dak, I mean, leads the league in passing yards. He's throwing it a ton. Good for us. We do have his over in pass yards, which is if he can just stay upright, stay healthy, that should easily soar over. He's probably on pace for. Let me look. He's on pace for currently 4,700 yards. We don't even need 47. I think we need about 1,000 less. So hopefully he can keep cooking. The problem with the Cowboys is their defense, man. The defense, they just cannot get off the field. I mean, if you're looking for fantasy football guys, you take that. Although they have a good matchup here, Jets. They face the Jets in the Meadowlands. Ooh. I mean, look, if their defense can't get off the field, then I'm afraid they might never be able to. So the ball's in your court, Cowboys. We suck. We are the worst. They actually get the Jets and the Panthers the next 2 weeks, both road games. But I mean, your Panthers just did. I'm at the point where are we at with Bryce Young? How do we feel about him?
I'm about 75% out, and that's tough because I came into the season really buying in what he could do under another year of Canales. But it feels like the pocket is just not where he's comfortable. And then in the NFL, even at a smaller size, you have to be so comfortable in the pocket. He just doesn't make reads that an NFL quarterback needs to be making. It's just he's just not showing signs of like maturity, and that's the problem. It's like he sometimes just has this noodle arm, man. Call him noodle arm Bryce Young for a reason, because it just feels like that a throw is required at like 15 yards and he gets it 12 yards. That doesn't work. All right. And I mean, talking about the Carolina Panthers, what was my best bet? I said, fade that defense. Coming off a shutout. I was like, this defense is so not a shutout type defense. And what do you know? They got a 40 burger hung on them. But we're both fans of bad teams. So we know we're experts in bad football, right? We can speak on these sort of things. And going back to Dallas, their defense is bad, but they're also banged up. I think that's a defense that could get better. Carolina's defense is bad, and there's no signs of getting better because they're mostly healthy. I mean, they're missing a few guys here and there, but that defense is just hard to watch. Yeah, tough, man.
I feel bad for your Panthers because they lost a couple of O-linemen, and not that their offensive line was good coming into the year. But losing two of your starters isn't going to help going down to some backups. But yeah, it just doesn't look good. And as a Tet McMillan fantasy owner, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there watching this video that are Tet McMillan fantasy owners. I mean, the guy looks all the part of being, a beast. Problem is they can't get the ball to him. I mean, he's just in hell every week. he gets wide open, and it's just like, well, Bryce Young's throwing it into the ground, or it's just going to a tight end. I mean, I don't even know how many targets the tight ends had last week, but it was agonizing as someone that needed 5 receptions for him. I mean, Tommy Tremble with 8 targets, 5 catches. I mean, Mitch Evans came out of nowhere. He just started catching balls, and it was like, all right, well, that's fun. He got 4 targets. It was a disaster. And I'm at the point where I just want to see Andy Dalton in there. Will that make it better? Perhaps not. But at least he can get the ball to Ted McMillan, and that's all I want. I also maybe I'm just saying that because I have a Ted McMillan future, and I need 1,000 yards from him.
Yeah, I mean, I told you when you drafted McMillan, I told you what you were going to get. I said it's very inconsistent. You might have your flash week every now and then, but with Bryce Young under center, there's no consistency to that offense at all. Look, I'm pretty much at the point where if they wanted to try the Andy Dalton experiment, I'm in. Just because, like, what do you have to lose? I mean, you have the Dolphins at home. This, in my opinion, is a Bryce Young now or never moment. And it's because that Dolphins defense, I think, is very suspect. I think they're a bad unit as well. I mean, they made some good stops against the Jets, but again, the Jets need offense. What sums up the Jets in one play was when they fair caught it in their own 5, within their own 5-yard line. Who does that in the NFL? You expect to turn on college football and see that. Not in the NFL, and that's what the level the Jets play at. But the Dolphins-Panthers matchup, while it sucks on paper, this is a Bryce Young now or never moment, in my opinion. I need to see something from him.
I mean, yeah, you got to see something at this point. I'm pretty sure that game's a pick 'em. Yeah, actually, Panthers were our favorites. We'll talk about them. Talk about that game on Wednesday, so stay tuned for our best bet there. Yeah, it's got to be now or never. I mean, the Dolphins' defense is not good. The Jets made them look good. All they were doing was just if they didn't blitz, Justin Fields just stand there for 10 minutes and then just start running. But if they did blitz the Jets, I don't know what's wrong with them. They cannot pick up blitzes. I saw the broadcast talking about them all last week when we just got absolutely torched. I mean, we got torched by the Bucks. The Bucks, I mean, Todd Bowles. I mean, we made that game competitive, yeah. But, I mean, Todd Bowles was just blitzing everyone, and it was just like pressure from everywhere. I'm pretty sure they said that after the game. That wasn't Justin Fields in. It was Tyrod Taylor. But the team just can't pick up pressure. So, maybe the Panthers have a little bit better job of doing that because they can pick up some pressure. Ted McMillan should be open. I'm not sure I want to run it back on McMillan props, but I might have to get involved. But it's kind of now or never. But you can't bench Bryce Young because they did it last year. I feel like it's like this has got to be the year where it's like, all right, Bryce, we're going to give you a long leash. Please make us look decent. But I mean, at some point, push comes to shove, you got to give him the boot if he's just not helping you. And we're at that point. But let's talk about some good vibes. Old Jackson Dart, he looks pretty dang good. I mean, I didn't watch a lot. I know you're more of a college football guy, so I'll let you touch on college football, what you saw from Dart coming into the pros, and if it looked the same, and then I can touch on what I saw from Dart.
I loved how they used him, in this Giants offense. I mean, they took what he's good at in college, which is dual threat. This is a dual threat quarterback. I mean, he might not look it, but he definitely he's so good on the ground. Kind of like Drake May. I mean, a little bit where it's like, hey, this guy's got some wheels to him. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a quarterback that is very comfortable throwing on the run, moving the pocket, things like that. What I was happy to not see the Giants do was just, drop him back and say, hey, you gotta make these very complex reads within the pocket. No, they were able to move him around. He had a rushing touchdown in that one, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the first touchdown of the game on his
his first touchdown of the game was the rushing touchdown. So I mean, that speaks to my point. If it gives this Giants offense a new level that they didn't have with Russell Wilson. That's why I think you and I both saw eye to eye on that Giants-Chargers game. I said Chargers aren't really prepared to face a guy that they don't really know what to expect. At Ole Miss, yeah, I mean, he lit it up under that Lane Kiffin system. That Lane Kiffin system's very good for quarterbacks and offensive players in general. But this Giants offense didn't have a whole lot of life to him. Now, get better soon, Malik Neighbors, because I mean that's going to be a big injury. I mean, that's their biggest loss. So get well soon there. But if you can at least play within yourself, keep giving Scattaboo the rock, we'll be good.
Yeah, honestly, when Tyrone Tracy comes back, they might have to make him back into a wide receiver because that's what he played at Penn State till they made him a running back. I mean, yeah, I liked what I saw to Dart. I didn't know, I honestly watched him, that he was – I knew he liked to run, But that man is just like Justin Fields level almost. It was like, hike, you're not open. I'm out of here. And it works week 1. They have an interesting matchup. We'll talk about this more on a Wednesday's video against the Saints on the road. That is a very winnable game. It's a pick 'em.
Mm-hmm.
That is, we'll see. The Saints looked good-ish against the Bills. They didn't like roll over. They've looked all right most of the year, minus that Seahawks game. They've been at least competitive. And at home, that could be a little bit of a trap spot for Jackson Dart. But you got to love the moxie. And the people in New York are just craving someone that just comes in and just starts, having some fun out there, which they have not had. And Danny Dimes the way Danny Dimes just looks in the press, it just pisses him off. I mean, I can't blame him for being pissed at that. Danny's just kind of like, he's got the Danny Dimes meme faces. Just a disaster. But Scattaboo, a little dart, a little bit of fun there. I'm a fan.
It is fun.
I'm a fan. I like what I saw. I do.
It's just something to turn your TV on Sundays and not dread to watch, because that's what they've had X number of years, Daniel Jones, and then even with the start of Russell Wilson. Like, look, not a Giants fan, but if I was, I would be so much happier just watching the young rookies shine and just saying, hey, maybe we have a little hope for the future.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. Well, back to wrap up. Any other final takeaways before we move on to week 5 and Logan?
Hey, you teased a little bit of baseball. I want to talk a little bit of baseball. World Series.
Let's dive into some baseball.
Let's talk who we like for the World Series. I just pulled up the odds. I mean, the Phillies are favorites. That's my team. I live in Philadelphia. I love the Phillies. Mariners trail slightly behind them. Dodgers in third. I'll ask you. I'm going to pose you the question. Who do you like for the World Series?
Looking at the matchups and thinking about a team that's been getting hot at the right time, it's hard for me not to really like what the Yankees have been doing as of late, and they get their 3 games at home. I don't mind them. At plus 700, that's interesting. They obviously, I wish they, as a Yankees fan, I wish they weren't facing the Red Sox in the first round so they could easily get booted. But I like them. I think they have a good enough pitching with Fried and Rodon to get the job done. I don't know if I love the rest of their starters. Schlittler's been all right, but again, guy that was just called up asking for him to pitch well in the postseason in a Yankee uniform, that feels like it always goes wrong. Luis Gil, Devin Williams has looked good as of the last month. I know he sucked. He lost a lot of followers for the beginning of the season, but he's looked good. They have a great bullpen. We'll see if they can show up in the big moments, but hard for me to bet against the Judge and company. Judge and Stanton are swinging hot bats, but Judge also hasn't really shown up in the postseason. So I know it's a big postseason for him to maybe shut up some of the haters. I kind of like the Yanks. I don't think I want to get there with the Phils just because I wish if they had Wheeler, they'd obviously be one of my picks. But with no Wheeler, I'm a little bit scared. Besides Christopher Sanchez, I don't know if I trust Luzardo in a big moment. I don't know if I can trust that man. I feel like he comes in, big moment, you're getting some turkeys tossed. But what are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I mean, you bring up all good points. And where I was looking at, my mind always goes to in playoff baseball is which team has the best path to kind of get hot along the way. Because rest in baseball, it actually, results more in rust. It's such a weird thing. It's like you can come into the playoffs playing hot, and then you have a first round bye, and then maybe the team that already played a series comes in there and wins. We see that's the trend time and time again. It's almost the trend that's like you don't want to be too good, because if you come in the playoffs too good, then it's like, wow, what happened? And that's what concerns me a little bit about the Phillies, because they're going to face the winner of Cincinnati and the Dodgers. I mean, that's just one of those things that I have that right. The bracket goes like that. It's not reseeding.
Yes,
yeah. So
Reds Dodgers winner faces.
Yeah, Reds Dodgers, the winner of that series, and they could already be hot by then. And I don't, as a Phillies fan, I don't really want to see the Dodgers there. Hey, maybe Reds can pull up the upset. But the team that I think has a first round, matchup where they don't have a bye and a very winnable first round matchup and can get some momentum is the Padres, because the Padres play the Cubs. The Cubs are, you and I both categorize the Cubs as slightly fraudulent, because the Padres have that playoff experience. They've been to the NLCS against the Phillies, lost, but they've been there. They've played those big time games against teams like the Dodgers. They're not scared of those types of teams. And if they beat the Cubs, which again I'm penciling them into beating Chicago. I mean, it doesn't matter that they're the lower seed teams. That team's hungry, and then they can play the Brewers. I definitely they don't do they reseed after the first round? I can't remember in baseball.
I think so.
Okay, well if they go on there and then if they play the Brewers, they can. That is a very winnable series because, as I mentioned, that the rest versus rust team that's going to affect the Brewers in a very negative way. I think the Padres can sneak their way to the NLCS, and then all bets are off. They're getting plus. I'm just looking at DraftKings right here, plus 1,400. I mean, Austin, I think there's too much value there to really pass up on that team.
I do agree with you. They were my next choice. I mean, they did end the break and the year on a decent, streak. They won, like 11 of their last 16. That's pretty good. I agree with you. I think the Padres got a good chance. I like the Cubs. The problem, I don't love them here in this spot. It's just their pitching has not been great, and their best pitcher, Cade Horton, is out. So Cade Horton's been obviously dominant the last, 3 months or so, 2 or 3 months. He'll probably win Rookie of the Year. But outside of him, like, do I have a lot of confidence with Shota, like back-to-back lefties with Shota and Matthew Boyd? Not really. And if you go to game 3 and you tell me death beams pointed at me and you have to put out Jameson Tyone or Colin Ray, I'm out. I'm out there. I'm not there. You lost me. We'll see what the Padres. They got Pavetta going, I believe, today. Dylan Cease, Michael King, Yu Darvish, like they have a great bullpen. So I agree with you. I think if there's a team to get going, it could be them. You could say kind of the same thing with the Brewers. Their starters really haven't been, crazy good. I mean, obviously Freddie Peralta's been good, but outside of him, like relying a lot on Quinn Priester to really, I mean, they won like 18 straight starts from him. But again, it wasn't like Priester pitched well, but now you get big time moment. Padres team, very good at contact. I could see them upsetting them. So I agree with you there. Now, I'll be honest. We love the Reds. I don't think they have a chance in hell. I don't. They're going to need a legacy start from Hunter Green today to just give them a shot. But man, I don't know.
I am worried about the Reds. I am worried about their pitching to really be able to like enter that postseason mode. Now they're hitting. The Reds are a type of team that can make a run just based off the fact that they get those timely hits. They generate those, they turn the runners in scoring position and the runs. That's what they needed to do to kind of sneak their way into the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the rotation. Littell against Yamamoto. That's a tough matchup right there. Like if assuming they can even win game 1, that's a very tough, game 2. And then game 3, they'll have Andrew Abbott. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Tough run for the Reds, but we will be rooting for them. Even though Austin and I do not have skin on these, daily picks in baseball anymore, I cannot wait for playoff baseball today. It's actually one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to cook up a parlay for Tuesday's games and just chuck it in the Dub Club or throw that out on Twitter and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do that. I think there's got to be a boost out there. Let's get involved, a little bit of baseball. We're not putting units on, 1, 2 units on the place, but maybe a little 0.1 unit. Yeah, you just to feel something on a Tuesday. Why not? Well, maybe we'll do that for you all. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Logan, any final thoughts for get out of here? Good to see some baseball though, man. Playoff baseball is electric.
Excited for playoff baseball. Excited to continue with football. It's this is peak sports season.
Yeah, and tomorrow October starts, and then we got the NBA right around the corner. I know you're not a big NBA guy, but man, I'm getting amped up for some NBA action. First week is normally pretty bad, but it's gonna be fun. Will Zion stay healthy, man? Everyone's buying into the Zion hype. Man, I love Zion, Logan.
You do love Zion.
We'll see. Yeah. But hey, thank you guys for tuning in to Call Our Shot podcast. We'll be back next week, as always, posted on Tuesdays. Thanks for tuning in. We're out of here. And go Reds. Well, absolutely, man. If we could recap the Reds getting through the first round next week, lifetime fan. I don't think it's happening, but we will root for them. You got 2 fans, Reds. 2 fans right here. All right, Logan, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.